And go.
What's up?
This is video 163.
Oh my goodness.
Day 119 in Liberia.
Somebody make it stop.
4 months specific. Like, we have put 4 months under our belts of Liberia.
I don't ever want to travel again. Although I do like the idea of us getting an RV and hitting the
we
open
might as well be
road.
living in an RV that won't move.
Our
We're in
RVs.
like our
RV's stuck in the mud.
jail RV.
Man, I look old and tired.
I took a shower and I thought that would cheer me up, and it really didn't.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. But the pasta cheered me up.
So if you've never watched our videos before, we're adopting 2 little girls that are awesome from Liberia. And we've been vlogging our journey since this year. We've been doing total over 2 years. So 170 days?
This is video 163.
163 we've been
And
doing.
Jeremy really wasn't in the beginning videos. It was just me, because I was like, I'm gonna make a New Year's resolution to speak for my daughters. Even if nobody ever listens. I know I have a few best friends that'll watch, so if nobody ever listens, I wanted to document this journey, to speak for them, to tell their story as much as we can without telling like intimate details of their adoption story. I mean, they are victims of Liberia and second generation, third generation war orphan type situation for them, and they have no one to care for them. So
Yes.
So, and the thing that I think is the most heart-wrenching about this whole situation is the multifaceted layers of complicated things that can only be orchestrated by Satan himself. Like, it's detailed how many ways children are weaponized here, that are exploited here. And I don't mean just exploited like child labor laws or sex trafficking or whatever, being abused. I don't mean that kind of exploitation. I mean like deeper than that. Like the products that are imported from overseas that are being sold at this developing country that ranks in the bottom 8, you said?
Bottom 8.
The bottom 8 for economic prosperity of 195 countries in the world. Liberia is in the bottom 8. And like things that I know for sure in the U.S. cost $25, maybe $30, will cost $60, $70, $80 here. And it's not a product that you can't live without. It's not like it's like medicine. Medicine here is actually very affordable in some ways.
It really is. And you can kind of just walk in the pharmacy and be like, do you have such and such drug? And they'll be like, yes, we do.
And they'll just give it to you.
And it'll be like $10. Here you go.
You don't need a prescription, which is terrible because they don't really know
Yes.
what.
We're doing our video. Is this an emergency?
Because they don't really know like what they're using it for. They're just guessing, so they're self-medicating. There are some healthcare facilities here, clinics and hospitals and whatnot, but just the exploitation of that, even that, it's like there you can't. I mean, I went to school for a long time to learn how to prescribe medicine. A long time. And
Long time.
It's complicated, and people just don't need to be taking stuff willy-nilly. Like when they don't understand what it's for, they can't even read the packaging. Only 46% of people here can read and write. You know, like,
Yep.
it's just not a good idea. So that's another exploitation, is these pharmacies are coming in here and selling medicine. It's kind of inexpensive, but for them it's pretty expensive. I mean, malaria medicine pack, like a 3-day pack of malaria medicine to help, is like half of our driver's daily wage. Like what he could make in an entire day, half of it would go to medication. So that's an exploitation. But it's at every turn. And we got really excited this morning because we heard that the Ministry of Gender was meeting with the all the orphanages that are under this countrywide suspension. And the Ministry of Gender phrased it on their Facebook page as if they were doing things to help with standard of care, and that everybody there was just being reminded of regulations, and it should be the highest level of humanity, compassion, and care at these orphanages. And that's not the case. That's not the case. Like, the reason for the meeting is that they've stopped all adoptions across the country, and the agencies want to know why. And nobody will tell them. Luckily, we got an email from our agency director that our attorney spoke up on our behalf. It was a room of 30 people at least. There was this random American-looking guy in there that we don't know who he was.
Dying to know who that
Wasn't
guy
in the group
is.
picture.
So he
but
took
I'm
his
like,
picture. He's like this.
We're always curious of the embassy.
I'm like, is this like a CIA guy or something?
We're always curious of the U.S. Embassy because the Liberian government officials are very open in saying that the U.S. Embassy overly pressures them, overly scrutinizes them, and thinks that everything in Liberia is corrupt, which, I mean, maybe. And they're micromanaging their procedures and making them do suspensions, but the U.S. Embassy says that that's a lie. The U.S. State Department says that that's completely false. So we don't really know who to believe. We don't really care. We just want to adopt our kids. That's all we want. And they're talking about the care of these kids, the poverty in these kids, all of these things that are going on, and yet they won't do anything about it. And we're sitting here in country. There's 16 kids in that orphanage that have families, and the U.S. government's not any better. We have friends that got sailed through the Liberian side of their adoption and got to the U.S. side of their adoption and got told no. And now that they're pursuing it, they're ready to sue them now. They're like, oh, well, we have 14 months to respond to you. Their daughters are 5-year-old twins, 14 months to respond. I'm like, God forbid if you send me to use this, I don't know what'll happen.
Well,
they should have never been sent to use this, and that's the thing, and that's what the entire Liberian police force looked into it and agreed. This should have never. There was nothing illegal about this process. This adoption is great. We recommend that this family come and get their kids and immigrate however they want. But the U.S. government says, no, we're not going to let you immigrate, even though the Liberian police did this entire investigation and said they could go.
Yeah, a couple things made me mad today was, so they had this meeting today, like you talked about on Facebook. They span it as they're doing these great, they as in the MOG, they're doing this great service for their community, making sure these orphanages are up to par.
But there's no budget for the orphanages.
They're going to shut them down if they're not. But there's no mention of the suspension or any of that stuff that office did in December. There's no mention of that. Which is
why all those people are there.
And then, I hear from one of my contacts from the MOG that I hadn't heard from in a couple days, and I'd sent him a message asking for an update, and he said they're celebrating DAC, and I'm like, I don't know what that means. What is that?
Day of the African
It's the
Child.
Day of the African Children. I'm like, and I did respond to him and say, great, let's celebrate African children by letting me help 2 of them.
Yeah.
But it's just,
it's ridiculous. I mean, I was just like, he said what? He'll always spam Jeremy with Bible verses and sermon notes, but
I'm about to just rebuke him and say, I don't want to hear your scripture. I rebuke you. You're not clearly living a good life if you're not helping children in your own country, so I rebuke you.
So
take me off your list.
During the meeting, you can block him if you want to. He'll never know.
No, I want to rebuke him.
Jeremy wants to rebuke people. This is funny. Get behind me, Satan. But it's true. It's like there's an evil presence here. Like today when we knew that they were meeting and we had this hope that the suspension could just be magically lifted, we asked people to pray. We notified all of our encouraging and supportive people, and then it didn't happen. But I mean, I see the small window of progress that our lawyer, our attorney for our agency that we really pushed for. We're like, what's his retainer? I'll give it to you now, kind of thing. And did give it to him. I was like, have Albert drive right here, right now. What is this man's retainer? We don't need to go through a committee for this. Let's get him. Because Sam met with him too and was like, this guy, he's the right guy. He's excited. He's passionate. Well, he stood up and basically rebuked the Ministry of Gender himself, the head lady, and was like, listen, we have a status report for the police investigation. They fully investigated our entire agency and everything about the director there, and they have found nothing. You have that status report. We recommend that you lift the suspension immediately because it's not legal to continue to suspend someone when there's no wrongdoing. You've had 5.5 months. And she said, I'll confer with my staff about that. She didn't say no, but she said, I'll confer with my staff. And then there was kind of water cooler talk after the meeting, and our attorney was able to talk to their attorney for the Ministry of Gender and some of their staff and be like, where are you guys at on this? When she says she needs to talk to the staff, have you not talked to her? Have you not updated her, kind of thing? And they said that they've already done a written recommendation that says to lift it, but that no one's seen it. We haven't seen it. We But that's their recommendation to her in writing, their legal team as well as her staff. And the thing is they keep talking about wanting to do an inspection. So we went to the orphanage and really just spruced up everything we possibly could. It looks great in there. I mean, even the toilet seats are hanging in. Those kids beat everything up.
Yeah.
And so the inspection's no big deal. But this orphanage gets inspected probably every other month, because every time there's a case history report generated, a case history report is basically a social worker that works for the MOG that goes to visit the children, visit the birth family, visit their place of birth in their village, talks to their family, reviews all the records, talks to the director, and checks the home where the kids live and makes sure they're being well cared for. So one of their government officials is in the home. I mean, Small World has seen 65 children go home, fully adopted to the U.S., 65 children in 6 years, on top of the 16 children that are there now, 3 of who have already been legally adopted. And then our kids, I mean, there's 16, I mean, that's 16, like some of them are sibling groups. So but it's at least 12 visits to that home, because you have to go separately each time, because you don't get them all at once. You get one here, you get one there. I don't know why they wouldn't just bulk investigate, but they don't.
Just, again, more waste of time.
There's no, I mean, and no one, of all the case history reports, they're always give complete, like, there's never any suggestions on anything that needs to change safety wise or throughput wise at the orphanage. The Ministry of Gender the investigators have never criticized any way that the children come into the home or leave the home, ever. And they consider our agency to be like the role model, what everybody else should do. They are complimentary. And so there's 4 investigators that do that. But it's just, and they've all been to our orphanage in the last 6 months, because I've met them and they've told me which kids they've investigated. They're like, oh yeah, I remember that. I can't wait for that one to go home. I did this one. I did that one. Like, 3 of the 4 of them are extremely friendly. One of them that's a little less like warm and fuzzy is because she's their supervisor, and I think she's been told not to share information. You really shouldn't share information about other people's cases. But if I mention a name and they're like, yeah, that one's good. I know who you're talking about. None of them, I think she has mine, because nobody knew about mine. We've talked about that, and it's neither here nor there. But yeah, I mean, the ways what they're doing. So these people that are in charge of adoption unit, they're not doing anything right now. They're not having to do anything at all. No home studies, no investigations, no case history reports, nothing. Nothing at all. They're just sitting there drawing a paycheck. And the Ministry of Gender is supporting this. So if you want to talk about corruption, budgetary planning, use of financial resources, she even said in the Facebook news press release, basically, that she would give benefits to orphanages that were in full compliance. To me, that says money or assistance. She said assistance to orphanages that were in full compliance, but shut down ones that were not caring well for the children based on their standards. And I'm like, you don't have money for that, so you're going to promise assistance?
Well, here's the thing:
when there's no budget at all.
When they shut them
down,
now where are they going to send the kids?
But they've already and one of the kids got moved to a safe house that's managed by the MOG and got the crap beat out of him, and he's going to the U.S. soon, and I'm sure his family will have plenty of reasons to sue the crap out of the MOG for not caring well for their child. And he got moved from an orphanage and put in a safe house. So this was a grand meeting to talk about standard of care for kids, and we had hoped that it would result in the lift of our suspension. It did give our attorney the microphone for a minute, and he is not swayed by the embassy. He's not swayed by the MOG. He's not swayed by us. He is motivated by what's right. And that's just who he is. I'm pretty sure he was wearing sunglasses during the meeting.
That's awesome. He should.
But he has something to say, but the thing is if they take it to judicial review, if it takes that where they have to file it with the courts, then I'm afraid we won't get any cooperation from the MOG, or we may.
And we're out of time
as a ploy to get So we're kind of out of time anyway. We're definitely on borrowed time at this moment.
We're on smoke.
So
I had this epiphany just a minute ago.
Epiphany?
Yeah, it's called the internet effect. So for my
when we got Wi-Fi back,
my mental well-being. So like yesterday we didn't have internet, and I was depressed, and it's just like
we even did our video and finally uploaded it.
So I'm just like such a sad human being. But like today, there's internet. I am angry, so I feel like I'm going to start calling it the internet effect. If there's no internet, I'm going to be depressed about our situation.
You're less depressed as much as you are angry now. We need to download.
You think I'm more angry, or
you're more angry today and less depressed?
Yeah, I think it's the internet effect.
Yeah. But like, I mean, there's so many things that I want to say. And I'm trying to only say the things that'll be helpful. And the most helpful thing that I can think of is that there is a lack of good Jesus-like leadership in this country and in this government. Both sides, but definitely in Liberia. There's just a lack of Jesus-like people that have the power to do what's right. There is a lot of fear. There's a lot of status and social standing. There's a lot of political grandstanding. There's a lot of selfishness and survival mode that leads you down a dark road. However, it matters that we're here, because today I got to show so many kids videos from their home that's waiting for them. And like, that is something that I can't share videos of the kids with their parents, but I can show videos of like, this is what your swimming pool looks like in your house that you're going to. And this is what your siblings look like. And this is what your mom and dad look like. And this is what their voice sounds like. And this is, do you know that they have a chicken farm? Or do you know that they live close to Blessing and Dizo, who used to live here with you? Or do you know that you get to go to the beach and learn how to fish and go to do you know that your mom is a Disney mom and you're going to spend a lot of time at Disney? I hear that, Victoria. I see you being a Disney mom. I'm proud of you. She's just all in, both of them, they're just all in. Even in the midst of their grief right now, they're all in celebrating birthdays at Disney. And that would be so fun, I know you're not a huge Disney fan, but step aside from your problems with Disney. But just the idea of being the theme park parent that's just there. And so
that sounds amazing.
Like showing like the people that are coming for you, or the people that are there. And the kids know when they're matched, and they see pictures of their family, and you can mail them things and stuff. But the video recordings have been a special added piece of heaven for them. And you can tell the ones that it really impacts the most because they stalk me. Not in a bad way, but in like the moment I get out of my car, they know I'm going to want to hug my kids first. But they're like one of those little twin girls, man, she is on my hip until I sit down, and she just stands. She doesn't even ask me. I know what she wants. And I've noticed that since I started showing her videos, she no longer naps in the afternoon. She's awake waiting for me. Her sister will be asleep. She's awake waiting for me. And then she doesn't just want to watch it once. She'll wait until she'll watch it, and all the kids are like hovering around and they're trying to wave it. And I'm like, nobody can see you, stop waving. But they still do. And they blow kisses and they say I love you, even if it's not their parents. But I brought them some like blank paper to color, and I took pictures of the kids that colored and wrote letters to their parents. And she just lingered longer, and she said, I want to see it again. And I think about her and how when this process moves forward, because of her case and because she's stuck in immigration, it is an unknown timeline when her parents will be able to come take her home. And my visits will stop. And that'll be a grief for her. But for now, she has a little glimpse, and she has some hope, and she has some curiosity that wasn't there before. But she just wanted to watch it again. She probably watched that same video 8 times. I've got like Victoria's kid, like her other kids screaming in the background, being funny, and like her voice telling them that she loves them in my head forever, because she watched it over and over and over. And the other kids too, they're just excited. Like they're just excited that someone's coming, and that they, saying their names right, finally got their names right. It meant a lot to me to see their face light up, and to just see that promise of what's coming, So, and one of the little girls still swears that she can swim. We've even showed her videos of the swimming pool and her like future siblings like getting thrown in the air by their dad. Just the normal pool stuff from kids like age 5 to 10 or 5 to 12 or whatever. And I'm like, so you're not going to need any extra help with this? No, I got it. I'm like, okay. It's just funny, her confidence. She may believe that she does have it. Maybe she does. I don't know. Maybe she swam from something crazy and she does. I don't know. Maybe she does. But like my youngest Liberian daughter asked today for a crochet hook, because one of the nannies teaches them to crochet, and that same nanny, Krubo, fantastic, wonderful person. All of them are wonderful. Krubo takes the time to teach them to crochet. And taking care of 36 kids is hard. Like, I mean, I'm surprised she has time to sit down and teach them that. They got to do all their hair, too. There's like 17 girls, I think. They do all their hair. 17 or 18 girls. And, I'm sorry, 19 girls and 17 boys is what it is. But so she asked for a crochet hook of her own, and Krubo, the nanny that teaches them to crochet, I was like, where do you find the yarn? So I just gave her like $10 and was like, buy as much as you can. Because my 8-year-old Liberian daughter said it's $150. She's talking about Liberian dollars. And I'm like, okay, so 190 Liberian dollars is $1 US. So if I give her $10, that should be enough to get one crochet hook and a bunch of skeins of yarn. And she was like, oh, okay. Because I'm like, give me some, because I want some for myself. I'm going to leave some here for you guys to play with. But I've looked everywhere for yarn, rather than just going to the market by myself and just, I mean, because it's just hard to find. And they call it dulette or string. They don't call it yarn. That's been part of the problem. So.
Yeah, when she said it's at the market, that doesn't really help, like, me.
Well, that's like a whole thing. And the male drivers that drive us around, they really don't know where it is. Like, I mean, I'm sure if it was like my mission, but I kind of just want to grab it on the way home at the Mega Mart. It's not there.
No.
I don't want to go on like an extra side trip adventure. I do want to get my laundry basket soon, though. I'm back to hand washing all of our clothes because it's just easier than trying to figure out the riddle that is management with the laundry room.
Yeah.
So.
It's just frustrating. I think what bothers me the most is just the lack of critical thinking from these government entities, just the downstream effect of their delays and potential, adoption providers going out of business. They don't think about that stuff.
They don't care.
It's just like, it's all pomp and circumstance. They're like their presentation.
Yes, you can read all that. It's all.
When they're in their meetings, like the person that's in charge is like they go on, like their staff, like I don't know how to say it. I just like they're a celebrity almost. Like they sit at the table and it's all this like grandstanding, and it's just, I've heard the same about the judges when you go to adoption court.
But the judge is on a grandstand. That's
right,
where they are.
But it's still all this thing. Like it's still this whole big rigmarole.
Like
and this,
entertainment.
Yeah, and it's like
Popularity.
Even these entities in government are doing the same thing. It's like, just do your job. I'm like, lift the suspensions, do your job, let us help. But that's just none of that.
So today is the day of African children, or day of the African child.
Ugh.
And
it's a day of just, isn't that ironic?
Yeah. At least they didn't close down for the day.
They just sing some Alanis Morissette.
Yeah.
Change the lyrics to just be all like TSL stuff.
Yeah. So we've gotten a little bit bitter about how Liberia runs. Like from a governmental standpoint, I guess we've always kind of been bitter about that. The Liberian people themselves, though, are super nice.
Imagine if you were like trying to...
Like the regular people, not
you were
the
trying to
government
adopt a puppy at a shelter. And you went to the shelter.
Don't compare our kids to
I'm not. It's just like, not today, but maybe next week. Not today. Maybe next week.
You go somewhere where they're like literally it's on billboards, it's advertisement. We need parents, we need parents, we need parents. We have this orphan crisis, orphan crisis, orphan crisis. And you show up to be a solution of the crisis. And you got friends that you're bringing with you, like you got people that are coming. We know people that are unmatched. And we're like, okay, here's your solution. We saw the billboard, we saw the sign, we turned in. Here we are. You need help, right? This is what you need, right? We're right here. And they're like, oh, maybe not today.
Next week.
Maybe tomorrow.
Maybe tomorrow.
2 weeks. Soon.
May 15th.
Soon.
Oh, no, May 30th.
March 30th.
Oh, I'm sorry, March, yes.
So, and I can't help but think that maybe that's the way that God views us too. Like where he's like, we're like, help me, help me, help me, help me, help me. And he comes and he helps. But the help doesn't look like what we thought it would look like. So we're like, I don't know, maybe I don't want that much help. Maybe I don't want that much help. Like we asked for our adoption to be blessed by God. We asked for it to be a good model of the gospel and how God adopts us into his family. Boy, we got it. Like talking about the way that God pursues us, and that's the way we are pursuing these children, just to give them a chance. They may turn out to not be great people at all, but we're going to give them a chance to make that choice and not let them grow up in a place that there's no choice, there's no hope, that death is the only thing that's coming for them here. And our daughter's situation from where they came from. That is the only thing that was coming for them next.
At least
Is
with
death.
God, though, like God pursues you, and you have the opportunity to accept or reject. Like we're us pursuing our kids, they're not even getting a chance to accept us. They may hate us down the road,
But as God pursues us and we say yes to Him, how many obstacles get in the way to derail us saying yes to Him? As we pursue our kids, how many things are getting in the way of them accepting that help? Maybe not from their own power, but it's still in the way.
right?
Because we live in a fallen world.
It felt hard.
And when you see...
Not today, Satan.
When you see a place where people die more than they live, then you see for sure how fallen that world can be. And you start to understand and relate to the people asking for bribes and the criminals, because you're like, well, if your family's starving... But even if my family was starving, I would not ask for a bribe. I just wouldn't. And I know I speak from a place of privilege, so maybe nobody believes me on that, but I wouldn't.
Right.
I wouldn't lie. And partly because you're not supposed to do that, but it doesn't work in the long run. So I hope for the people that are using adoptions, that are using children of Liberia or children in the U.S. foster system or children in general, if you are using the exploitation, the vulnerability, and the need of any child to benefit yourself, whether that be financially, whether that be your political clout, whether that be your popularity among your friends, I hope that you ask God for mercy, and I hope that He grants it for your sake, but don't come to me for mercy, because you won't get any. Because I'm so over people taking advantage of these little faces and these little voices that just want to go home.
I think Jesus speaks about a millstone around your neck, doesn't He?
Oh, He does. There's a lot. He speaks of a lot. And all my friends that keep sending me like Bible verses to read, thank you. I'm reading them. They're good ones. And my friend Allison actually sent me the Both Hands Project application, because if we'll apply for that and we get it, then she said she would do it for us. And that's a big project fundraiser that usually helps with like thousands of dollars for adoptive families.
That'd be awesome.
Of course, like the cost of our adoption is becoming like this astronomical.
I don't even want to know the total at this point. Don't even tell me.
So, but
just keep that to yourself.
Yeah, we're holding our ground here a little bit longer. We're trying to prove to the Liberian people that we're not going away, and that we represent, 10 other families. Well, really, probably 30 other families. You count there's like 17 unmatched and like 10 waiting. And they're so cool to get to know. Thank you guys. It's been fun to get to know you. But yeah, if you're going to exploit kids, vulnerable kids, and benefit from, make yourself feel better, make your political clout better, make you more popular, maybe make your business better, line your pockets, whatever, do not come to me for mercy, because you will find none here. God may have mercy on you. I suggest that you pursue Him while you're surrendering the ways that you exploit the vulnerable.
Hear, hear.
But I'm over it. That's why when I went to the MOG and visited with them, and I talked to someone that was in a sort of a place of power, at least a place of ear to the powerful, I've just asked for compassion. Like to see. I just want I would like some compassion. Haven't gotten any yet. You know what's funny is that we are going to make them look terrible when we leave here and say we waited for the MOG for 4.5 months and they finally released our children, and they knew we were here the whole time and they didn't care. They didn't care. It's not going to look good. It's really not going to look good when Selah comes and starts picketing. We really need to fix this before Selah gets here, because she's going to march around the MOG with a sign. She'll do it too. And she'll probably get 100 people to go with her.
Yeah, she can walk around that building they didn't build for themselves.
Yep. I love Selah.
I do too. I don't know if we'll still be here by then with the sign, but
I hope that we're not, but because she's coming really right when we're running out of money, but
yep.
I don't have anything else to say.
Now they almost.
I don't have anything else to say that I think is appropriate to say on a YouTube channel.
No, I don't either. It would just be.
Buy some Noonday, donate to our adoption, go through and look through all those family stories, and even if you just, what would really make me happy, like what really just changed my day, is for one person to go through every single family on that list. 2 of them are unmatched, the rest are matched, and just give $5. and just say keep going. Because when we get those emails that someone's given us even just $5, it's a game changer for morale. And Jeremy won't let me give everybody $5. It's on that list, because we don't have $5. But
maybe if they give it right back.
we those waiting families, they need a boost. So because we get to see the kids, we get to talk to the kids hug us, talk about celebrities. We're the celebrities for that orphanage. Not the Ministry of Gender, not the caseworkers, not the police, not the governmental offices, nothing like that. It's their caregivers, orphanage director, and the people that visit them. And visiting orphans and caring for them in their distress and refusing to let the world corrupt you is an important thing to do. But if you decide to care for orphans in a developing country without the same freedoms, resources, and protection that we have on U.S. soil, you will have an opportunity to be corrupted. And that is what we fight with every single day, is trying not to let the environment that we've chosen to be in corrupt us too. And it's hard.
I would say, yeah, our anger stays pretty high.
It's hard. It's okay to be mad at bad, but it's hard to not be corrupted. It's hard not to give up. Every single day, it's hard not to give up. But I'm a long way from quit, so.
I did get like 20 hugs today.
From the kids?
It's pretty cool. Yeah. Like even when we get out of the car, it's like immediately.
All they want. We don't even bring them cookies anymore. We used to bring them little like cookie biscuit things. No, they want to draw. And they want to sit with you.
And they want to make paper airplanes.
So they want to draw. So here's what their routine is now.
The boys specifically.
The girls too now, I think.
Yeah, a lot of the girls.
Yeah. So here's what they like to do. They like to sit and do their artwork, and they like to write letters to their parents. And even the kids that don't have parents write letters to their parents. And they know they don't have parents. But they're like, when my family's found, when Daddy Albert finds my family, will you give this to them then? They know. Like, they know. And so I'm like, sure. So I take a picture of it. And then they go to Jeremy's station, and he makes a paper airplane. And then I don't have to come home with all these bags of artwork.
I'm getting really fast at it. I can't even make it without a table. I just make it in the air.
And some of the older boys can make them too. And I've seen a couple of the older, man, those older boys are unmatched. There's two older boys that are unmatched that they make the paper airplanes for the little kids too. They take your stress off.
Well, the hope is those kids will be good leaders for this country when they get older.
Yeah, because I don't know that there's anybody that's gonna.
And then Albert sends
volunteer.
them like maybe to school somewhere.
Yeah, they're good kids, man. Good kids, patient.
Yeah.
Good kids. They deserve a permanent family. I wish we could give them one.
Sure.
If you're thinking about it, let me know.
Yes.
So,
Love you.
I love you. Bye.